In this video, we're going to talk about a particular kind of algebra word problem, one that requires you to find the sum of a series of consecutive numbers. Here's an example. The sum of three consecutive numbers is 18. What are the three numbers? Before we do that, though, let's make sure we understand what the term consecutive numbers means. Consecutive numbers are numbers that follow each other in order without any gaps, from smallest to largest. It's just like you're counting by ones. 3, 4, 5, 6, or 15, 16, 17. Those are consecutive numbers. Speaking in general terms, if you know the first, or in other words, the smallest number, how can you find the next number and the number after that? Well, looking at the two examples above, it's easy to see that to find the next number in the sequence, you simply add 1 to the previous number. So if the first number is 3, the next number is 1 larger, 4, and the number after that is 5, 1 larger again. Pretty straightforward. Okay, so remember this process of adding 1 to a number to get the next number in the sequence. And now let's get back to the original problem. Remember, our job here is to find three consecutive numbers that add up to 18. So let's rephrase the problem. We could say what we have to do is we have to take the first number and add to it the second number and add to that the third number, and the sum of those three numbers should be 18. Let's start by letting the letter n represent the first number, and we'll start to rewrite the equation. So here, instead of writing the phrase the first number, we're just going to use the letter n. Remember, we said that to find the next number in the sequence, you take one number and you simply add 1 to it. So instead of using the phrase the second number, we can replace that with the expression n plus 1, since n was the first number. Continuing that idea, to find the third number, we can just replace the phrase the third number with the second number, which we've called n plus 1, and we can just add 1 to that. So that gives us n plus 1 plus 1. Lastly, we'll just fill out the equation with equals 18. Now we have a pretty simple equation. We have n plus 1 plus n plus 1 plus 1 equals 18. So we can combine like terms here. We can add the 3 n's and get 3n. And then we can add the 3 1's together and get plus 3. So now we can write the equation as 3n plus 3 equals 18. Subtracting 3 from both sides gives us 3n equals 15. And finally, dividing both sides by 3 gives us n equals 5. So we know that the first number in the sequence is 5. Keeping in mind that these are consecutive numbers, if the first number is 5, the next number has to be 5 plus 1, or 6, and the third number in this series has to be 6 plus 1, or 7. So the three need to be 5, 6, and 7. To check our answer, we can add the three numbers. 5 plus 6 is 11, plus 7 is 18, so we have the sum that we expected, and we know our answer is right. Okay, you try one. The sum of 4 consecutive numbers is 30. What are the 4 numbers? Now pause the video and give this a try. If you need to go back and look at earlier parts of the video, then go ahead and do that. When you finish and you think you have your answer, then resume the video and I'll show you the answer. We'll start this the same way we did the previous one, except this time we'll have 4 numbers to add up, in this case to 30, instead of 3 numbers. So again, just like we did before, we'll let the letter n represent the first number. As you can see, each time we added 1 to the previous number in order to get the next number. So we started with n, the next number was n plus 1, the next number was 1 more than n plus 1, and the fourth number was 1 more from n plus 1 plus 1. Same process as before. Now we can combine terms again. This time we have 4 n's, and if we add up all the 1's, we'll end up with 6. So we can rewrite this equation as 4n plus 6 equals 30. Here we are just solving for n. The first step will be we'll subtract 6 from both sides of the equation. That'll leave us with 4n equals 24. Dividing both sides by 4 gives us n equals 6, so 6 is our first number. Remember, we're looking for 4 consecutive numbers, so if the first one is 6, the next ones have to be 7, 8, and 9. We can check them by adding those 4 numbers up and see if we get 30. 6 and 7 is 13, plus 8, 21, plus 9 is 30. Our answer is good. All right, let's try another one. The sum of 3 consecutive odd numbers is 27. What are the 3 numbers? Well, in this case, again, let's make sure we know what consecutive odd numbers are. They're numbers in sequence, except this time we only pick the odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. So when we had consecutive numbers, each number was 1 greater than the one before. What's the pattern here? You probably figured out that what you have to do is just add 2 to each number this time instead of adding 1 like we did before. So we add 2 to 1 to get 3, we add 2 to 3 to get 5, we add 2 to 5 to get 7, etc. Let's start this just the way we did the previous problem. We'll write sort of a pseudo equation here, rephrasing the original question. So we'll say the first number, we're going to add the second number to it, and then we're going to add the third number to that, and the sum of those 3 has to be 27. Again, we're letting the letter n represent the first number. So if the first number is n, remember the second number, we're talking about consecutive odd numbers here. So we're going to add 2 to the first number and get n plus 2, which is the second number. Then to find the third number, we'll add 2 to that second number, giving us n plus 2 plus 2. And again, the sum of these 3 has to be 27. Now we'll start solving the equation. The first thing we'll do is we'll combine like terms. In this case, we have 3 n's. And if you add 2 plus 2 plus 2, that'll give us 6 for the constant. So our equation now is 3n plus 6 equals 27. Subtract 6 from both sides of the equation. We're left with 3n equals 21. Almost there. Again, we'll divide both sides by 3. It gives us n equals 7. So the first of these 3 consecutive odd numbers is 7. We add 2 it, the other 2 must be 7, 9, and 11. Checking our answer, 7, 9, and 11 are all 3 consecutive odd numbers. If we add them up, 7 and 9 is 16, plus 11 is 27. So our answer is good. Your turn again. The sum of 3 consecutive even numbers is 30. What are the 3 numbers? Think about the process that we went through to find out how we went from consecutive odd numbers from one number to another, and apply that same process to finding out how to get from one even to get even consecutive numbers. Apply that here and do the problem just the way we've done the other ones and see if you can get it. Pause the video while you work on it. Go back and look at earlier parts of the video if you want to, and when you think you have your answer, resume the video and I'll show you the answer. Hopefully you realize that to go from, when you have consecutive even numbers, to go from one number to the next, you add 2 just the way you did for the odd numbers. So this problem looks a lot like the consecutive odd number problem that we just did. So you'll have the first number, the second number, and the third number. Each time we'll add 2 to the previous number, combined like terms, got down to the second to last step, divided both sides by 3, and came up with n equals 8. So 8 must be the first number, the next number must be 10, all after that must be 12. They're all 3 even, and if we add them up, 8 plus 10 is 18, plus 12 is 30. Our answer is good. Hope you got it. Well, that's about it. If you want more practice, here are a few more problems. Again, just like before, pause the video, work on the problems, and when you think you have answers to all of them, resume the video and I'll show you the answers. Check your answers against these and see how well you did. Hope you got them. Hope the video was helpful, and good luck working on consecutive numbers word problems.